enough for the bounty. On the block with the water, they drowning. No mercy, my hitters confound them. My weapon to shake up the block when they're knocking. The prophets don't miss when they sound it. Hey, my team rowdy. My team do a blitz every county. My God put a price on your past ahead, and I'm pulling up for the bounty. On the block with the water, they drowning. No mercy, my hitters confound them. My weapon to shake up the block when they're knocking. The prophets don't miss when they sound it.
And they shook. Look, just because I'm reading out the book. I don't know how much bodies I done took.
I lost count.
All I know, your pastor about to get cooked.
Cookie.
Lie, look. Drink to when we come for the kill. It's the best, we don't care how you feel. Got bombers, but yo, don't test us. Cause we coming down with the wheel. We really bout it for real. From beginning to covenant seal. With the rest of we can't even chill. With the scripture to come with a meal. We ain't looking for a meal. We just looking for the servants. We just looking for the chosen. The one that you plotting to kill.
We pulling up to the scene. Boots too clean. 12 shots, watching him lean. Dream team breaking this scheme. Pass the V. Run to John 3:16.
Payback and we sending the bill. Woe to the pastors that kill. Woe to the ones that scatter the sheep. Drinking a cup when it's filled. Fishes the hunters a thrill. You already know the drill. Real prophets, we back in the field. With the sword moving ill.
My team do a blitz every county. My God put a price on your past ahead, and I'm pulling up for the bounty. On the block with the water, they drowning. No mercy, my hitters confound them. My weapon to shake up the block when they're knocking. The prophets don't miss when they sound it. Hey, my team rowdy. My team do a blitz every county. My God put a price on your past ahead, and I'm pulling up for the bounty. On the block with the water, they drowning. No mercy, my hitters confound them. My weapon to shake up the block when they're knocking. The prophets don't miss when they sound it.
We bout to come for your pastor. Hit him up like a natural disaster. Got the ultimate weapon for war, and I call it a doctrine blaster. You a coon and you loving your master. When you teach, you be skipping the chapters. Got the rock and I'm doing the will. Violate these scripts, gon' slap you.
You ain't keeping the law, you ain't spiritual. All these demons, they wanna get physical. Gotta seal you, blade like a medic. All these lie getting cut like umbilicals. All these lie getting cut, they pathetic. We the army of God, yeah, I said it. Tell the pastor, pull up, he could get it. Gotta hear a see, I'ma shred it. Your pastor, they greedy. They better know who we be. You gon' lose if you banking on TD. Got them scared and they watching like TV. Cry loud, I ain't spend no feelings. Pull a low, I'ma show him what sinners. Show you how to spot a ghost prophet. Cause we above the law business.
Gino, we know. You are talking like Debo. When the purpose around the block, couldn't find him like Nemo. Gino, we know that you got a big ego. You say you wanted a spiritual war, then you hide behind people. You call it a Ku Klux Klan. You said we a propaganda. You said that I wanted. Well, I'm making these scriptures bang. We blitzing the Christian church. We hitting them up where it hurts. It's a burial for your doctrine. We bringing them out in a hurt.
Rowdy. My team do a blitz every county. My God put a price on your past ahead, and I'm pulling up for the bounty. On the block with the water, they drowning. No mercy, my hitters confound them. My weapon to shake up the block when they're knocking. The prophets don't miss when they sound it. Hey, my team rowdy. My team do a blitz every county. My God put a price on your past ahead, and I'm pulling up for the bounty. On the block with the water, they drowning. No mercy, my hitters confound them. My weapon to shake up the block when they're knocking. The prophets don't miss when they sound it.
World domination, always on my mind. Holy convocation, that's my type of time. Looking for salvation, better be the try. 12 by 12,000, can you multiply? I do not deal with these regular human beings. I just roll with the gods and they scripture slinging. Got the angels singing when the sinner repenting. They slay a demon, ain't no deeper meaning in this life, boy. Raising up the Israelites, boy. All one in Christ, boy. But that for the 12 and nobody else. Better not get this twisted. Gotta seek my mission. Follow my leadership vision. The law, how we make a decision. High mind, hard body prophets. God talk, got the earth rocking. Doctrine killers quit to get it popping. You'll never be able to stop it. Watch this.
12 by 12, Israel on the rise. Represent this one for the tribes. In my head, dreams of Edom dying. This that Juven want that smoke. Sons of thunder, bring that fire. Yeah, I got a lot on my plate. Better be sure I'ma eat it. He told me go out to the sheep, and you better know I'ma feed them. Yeah, 12 by 12, Israel on the rise. Represent this one for the tribes.
You better move if you ain't got work for the kingdom. Pass me my sword so I can go ham. Porky the pig on a demon. I think twice before I speak. You know them niggas be scheming. My foundation built on a rock. Then we gon' drop dropping on Edom, and who would've thought we would win it? If we fell back from the Senate, yeah, plenty oil in my lamp, but y'all like song check engine. My God black like Wesley. Why these nations keep trying to test me? I got a heart and it's full of aggression. They get them to go just like Messi. Golden gates without naming and hitting. If they don't like it, be hit them. Break them to pieces and shred them. Make sure they know that it's pressure. You want the truth? Well, here's the lecture. Doctor get body, someone called a stretcher. Look for the king to come from the heavens. 12 like 1 plus 11. Gone.
Yeah, 12 by 12, Israel on the rise. Represent this one for the tribes. In my head, dreams of Edom dying. This that Cuban want that smoke. Sons of thunder, bring that fire. Yeah, I got a lot on my plate. Better be sure I'ma eat it. He told me go out to the sheep, and you better know I'ma feed him. Yeah, 12 by 12, Israel on the rise. Represent this one for the tribes.
Ooh, dry bone from the neck to the hip to the thigh bone. Ain't no valley too dry, we gon' rise on them. It's the body of Christ, it's alive, homie. Thinking you holding the secret. Cat out the bag, you can stop it, we seen it. Blacks and Hispanics were born for the kingdom. You tried to mislead them lies that you tell, it's gon' cost you your freedom. We want the smoke, we challenge your boots on the ground. We alive and we standing up. Today I got time, we pressing you. We ain't gon' stop and get tired, we got stamina. How you gon' stop what we know? My people been mad, they won't smoke. This get back gon' keep us afloat. And these scriptures is murder, she wrote. Whoa. Used to be blind, now I can see with my mind. Scriptures, they open my eyes, and now it's just pressure. My people about it, we really out here, the promise, go let you know. We got next, we the best, we won't roll. How they gon' stop us when we got the ghost? Holy smokes.
Yeah, 12 by 12, Israel on the rise. Represent this one for the tribes. In my head, dreams of Edom dying. This that Cuban want that smoke. Sons of thunder, bring that fire. Yeah, I got a lot on my plate. Better be sure I'ma eat it. He told me go out to the sheep, and you better know I'ma feed them. Yeah, 12 by 12, Israel on the rise. Represent this one for the tribes.
They screaming peace when there ain't no peace. Israel prophesying in the streets. Look at me, the center of attention. Black Messiah coming with a vengeance. Coming with a vengeance. Black Messiah coming with a vengeance. They screaming peace, it ain't no peace. We prophesying in the streets.
We seeking peace in the streets of Babylon. Brandishing Glock 40s, tucking heat like a carry-on. Sinning against the fathers, got me sleeping, not napping on. Christ the King revealed this aerial phenomenon. Kicking against the bricks, lose your soul when that fire come. We purify better than gold, got my Bible on. And that's all that I know, when Babylon gon' fall, watch it blow, ayy. Switching it up, the nation's gon' drink it, I'm talking the cup. Don't care what you thinking, believe in the gospel. God is thinking, the fires of heaven gon' gather for dinner. To eat up the flesh, the wicked, the sinner. Your mama, your sister, your daddy, your cousin can get their issue. If they mind, they don't repent.
They screaming peace when there ain't no peace. Israel prophesying in the streets. Look at me, the center of attention. Black Messiah coming with a vengeance. Coming with a vengeance. Black Messiah coming with a vengeance. They screaming peace, it ain't no peace. We prophesying in the streets.
IUICC, we in the streets with it. Beasts with it, with the kings and the priests with it. My people sleeping, got them dreaming in the sheets with it. So we spit that holy fire, bringing heat with it. We out here fighting for better days. Most sins make better slaves. Gotta come together on the 7th day. Lose 11 and I levitate. 1 plus 11 heaven gates. 12 tribes, no reprobates. Kingdom come, I could never wait. But the present saints never separate. Christ coming back with a legion of them angels. Picture perfect prophecies, trying to find my angle. Hung up from a tree and they watch his body dangle. So the vengeance of the Lord coming down, you in danger.
They screaming peace when there ain't no peace. Israel prophesying in the streets. Look at me, the center of attention. Black Messiah coming with a vengeance. Coming with a vengeance. Black Messiah coming with a vengeance. They screaming peace, it ain't no peace. We prophesying in the streets.
Golden wedges of Ophir. Look at here, we the prophets of the Most High, the only God I fear. Killing your career as a Christian, shed a tear. Jesus take the wheel, I'ma let the scripture steer. Joseph interpret dreams, but I don't think he could imagine it. See to the last days, Jacob told him this would happen.
And we letting loose, we some loose cannon. Patient saints on the scene, and this kingdom we commanded. Purple and gold, no LeBron James. With King Christ, we gon' see better days. Now you not free cause you got money, you a slave. The Most High on his throne, beholding all thy ways. They screaming peace when there ain't no peace. Israel prophesying in the streets. Look at me, the center of attention. Black Messiah, coming with a vengeance. Coming with a vengeance. Black Messiah, coming with a vengeance. They screaming peace, it ain't no peace. We prophesying in the streets.
Mr. Israel, bring that fire out.
I need the spirit celestial body, you know we gon' get it. And we in the streets to gather the sheep, you can say that we fishing. But God got intentions, and he got a mission to destroy all the minions. And the son of perdition, hunters, get them, runners, sprinting. The anger of Christ we quenching. If you run the dice, you finish. Hunters, get them, runners, sprinting. The anger of Christ we quenching. Evolve to hunters from fishes.
Big Brew talk that Jew way. For the reward of this truth is the new way. Pray for the Sabbath, then wait for the Sabbath. Been thinking about it since Tuesday. This is a movie, I don't mean a Blu-ray.
Yo, 100 they souls in 4K. See it up close, swivel than ghosts. Keep it 100 like you say. I'm talking about expansion. Look in the book, it's mansions. Flex on a hater like Samson. God give it easier for ransom. What's on their back get damaged. Yo,
Psalm 149 been jamming. Yo, set a block on fire. To the chariots in the sky, my people been dying to vote. Your pastor been selling you hope. Your job been selling you dreams. Esau been selling you dope. In the form of a pope. But this right here for the freedom. This right here ain't for Edom. A Moab or Ammon, this here for the family.
yo, and we want it all. See Babylon fall. To rule over dogs. See all of them crawl. And acknowledge we the chosen, and tell it like Moses when he appeared with the Torah. Sport a book like Dora, mountaintop like Horror. Go!
I ain't the spirit, so let's see your body, you know we gon' get it. And we in the streets to gather the sheep, you can say that we fishing. But God got intentions, and he got a mission to destroy all the millions. And son of perdition, hunters, get them, runners, sprinting. The anger of Christ we quenching. If you are the dice, finish. Hunters, get them, runners, sprinting. The anger of Christ we quenching. Evolve the hunters for fishes. Yeah.
Hold up, real Jew, get up out my face, man. Watch what you say, yeah, them brews don't play. Pull a scripture, cut a demon, put a heathen in his place, put a fix your face. As we run it, through Christ receives we atonement. For them 12 tribes, yes, our time, ain't no escaping this judgment. See Esau getting double, match that, turn his ass to the stubble. See Jacob a fire and Joseph a flame, and he'll be devoured. Now what shall remain? How for the Lord has spoken. Yeah, you know we coming back for his chosen. Yeah. So come out my people so that we shall reign and be not partakers or you reap the same. See we them people scattered all across the nations. Last Trump we uncorrupt, yeah, check the message. Black Messiah, King of King, it ain't no question. Straight from Basra, dyed garments in his fury, taking vengeance. So we reigning back to back to back to black to back. The fact that Christ is black, yeah, that's a fact. The kingdom back and shout out a dog, move a tongue against his people while we're ruling. Yeah, you know it ain't no stopping that. Scripts like fire, they lethal. Yeah, pest slaughter for his people. Yeah, put the wings off an eagle. And all these other nations gon' bow when the Lord put an end to his kingdom like bye.
I need the spirit celestial body, you know we gon' get it. And we in the streets to gather the sheep, you can say that we fishing. But God got intentions, and he got a mission to destroy
destroy all the minions. And the son of perdition, hunters, get them, runners, sprinting. The anger of Christ we quenching. If you roll the dice, you finish. Hunters, get them, runners, sprinting. The anger of Christ we quenching. Evolve to hunters from bishops. Huh?
You've been making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the prophets here, so boy, you better. You've been making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the prophets here, so boy, you better. Cause the prophets here now. You better.
Hey, bring that out.
Cause the prophets here now. See hanging on the corner, see hanging on the streets. Somebody run up on you, someday you never see. I got that Bible on me, don't need no gun. You got them questions, I get it like everyone. Looking like I come for war, even when I come in peace. 3 times I prayed to the Lord, 3 times I turn to these. Pop out to the club, sipping on that cup. Everything you do, I done did and I gave it up. You've been making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the prophets here, so you better. You've been making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the prophets here, so you better. Cause the prophets here now. You better.
Hey, bring that out.
Cause the prophets here now. Making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the prophets here, so boy, you better. You've been making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the prophets here, so boy, you better. Cause the prophets here now. You better.
Hey, bring that out.
Cause the prophets here now.
So you think you a man, cause you pushing them drugs, while I'm taking care of my family and showing them love. And you thinking you high, well I'm thinking you not. Cause what really makes you a man is keeping the laws of God. Wait a minute, let me tell the truth. Life and death is set before you, what you gon' do. And if you wanna get them demons from above you, and I suggest you start repenting, man.
You've been making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the prophets here, so boy, you better. You've been making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the prophets here, so boy, you better. Cause the prophets here now.
Prophets here, yeah. You better man.
Cause the prophets here now.
We the saviors of the
You've been making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the prophets here, so boy, you better.
Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ bless. Welcome back to you and me. All praise to the Most High. The Captain Emmanuel has been covered in the class while I was outside of the country doing the Lord's work. All praise to the Most High for the grand opening in Ghana, Kumasi, IOIC, doing great things by the Spirit of the Lord. So today, we're going to, are we broadcasting on Diasporic too? All praises. So, we're going to start hitting the Diaspora. So I'm going to start integrating my topic with Diasporic topics as well, so we could hit this on a global level, because the things that's happening in America is happening globally. Remember, Babylon's reach is extensive, and it covers the earth. So today's topic is global diasporic agenda to decrease the population. So global diasporic agenda to decrease the population. We're going to start off with Genesis chapter 1, verse Genesis 1, verse 27. For the tea, wonderful tea. I don't like too many people making my tea either.
Genesis chapter 1, verse 27. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him.
So God created man in his own image. The first man, Adam, was a black man, according to the Bible, created from the dust of the ground to be a reflection of his own image. Read.
In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them.
So male and female, remember, Eve came out of Adam. So male was the first man created. Adam was the first man created, and Eve was taken from her ribs. Male and female created he them. Go on.
And God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply.
So one of the first blessings, the first thing that was instituted was, besides the 7-day Sabbath, that was the first high holy day instituted. But when it comes to one of the first laws implemented was the law of marriage. The implementation of man as well as woman. I'll say it again. Male as well as woman. Two genders. The male gender as well as the female gender. It behooves me, it baffles me how today in 2023, when this is supposed to be the age of enlightenment, or one of the most technological advanced or most intellectual, so-called intellectual ages, but for some reason we're having an argument or something common such as gender. If you ask a 3-year-old, 4-year-old, what's that? A little boy will say, that's my penis. You ask a girl, she's like, that's my vajayjay. She'll be like, no, she'll be like, ew, that's a boy. They know the difference between a man and a woman. It's when you get older, people get stupid. They get retarded. They forget common sense. That's why you have the smartphones, these technologies. You have your TikTok, your Instagram. It takes your basic common understanding of life or the perception of reality, and it puts it in the phone, and it takes your ability to be able to think or rationalize things which is real or what's not. And you live in a world of confusion, mass confusion. Go on.
And God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth.
All right, so let's go to Genesis chapter 5, verse 9. So the creation of man was made through the image of God. So God created man. So God dictates everything that happens to man and everything that occurs on this earth. Genesis chapter 5, verse 9.
Genesis chapter 5, verse 9. And Enos lived 90 years and begat Canaan. And Enos lived after he begat Canaan 815 years and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Enos were 905 years, and he died.
So Enos, prior to Enos, it was always made for man to be immortal. Can we get that real quick? In Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2, verse 23. So when man was placed on the earth, when it says God made man in his own image, meaning the first man, Adam, was created to be a reflection of God's very image. And that image, remember, God was a celestial being, meaning there's no end of days, nor beginning days of end of days. So Adam was initially supposed to be created like that. Go on.
Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2, verse 23. For God created man to be immortal.
God created man to be immortal. Initially, it was always created for man to be immortal, to live eternally. Go on.
And made him to be the image, to be an image of his own eternity.
And it made man to be an image of his own eternity. But what happened? Go on.
Nevertheless, through envy of the devil came death into the world.
Nevertheless, because Eve envied the position of Adam, came death into the world. Eve wanted to be equal, even though she wasn't born equally. She wasn't born first. She was born from the ribs of Adam. Death came to the world because she envied Adam's position of authority. So she went to learn from another man to learn the wisdom that was unknown to Adam. Learn the dark side of the coin, or the left side of God, or the left side of wisdom or knowledge or information. And she tried to have her head up on Adam. But because of Eve's envy, death came into the world. Now let's go back to Genesis chapter 5, verse 11. So man was made to be immortal.
Genesis chapter 5, verse 11. And all the days of Enos were 905 years, and he died.
So that's when we start to see the diminishing of man on this earth. Enos lived 905 and 5 years, 905 years. Let's go to Genesis chapter 6, verse 3.
Genesis chapter 6, verse 3. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh.
So God says, my spirit shall not always strive with man, because God's spirit was on the sons of God at one point in time. Meaning they had powers, spiritual powers. They had abilities that men normally didn't have. The men were a lot taller and stronger than they are today. So God's spirit should not always strive with man. Go on.
For that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years.
And that's how we see as wickedness increased, the diminishing of years started to decrease. Let's go to Psalm chapter 90, verse 10. So you see man's age or his time on earth decreased from eternity, to 900 years. And you look at as we went through time and the chronology of Adam's lineage or the sons of God, you see the time of man start to diminish all the way to Genesis 6 before the flood or the mass annihilation of mankind. 120 years, God brought down the life expectancy of a man and woman. Go on.
Psalm chapter 90, verse 10. The days of our years are 80 years and 10. And if by reason of...
So the days of our years are 80 years and 10. A score is 20. 80 is 60. Plus 10 is 70. Go on.
And if by reason of strength they be 80 years.
And by reason of strength, meaning that person could live to 80 years old. Now, yes, people might say, well, you got some people that live to 120, 110. Yeah, they're the exception. But the vast majority, God says, as a collective, globally, the people, the number of years for the life expectancy of a human is between 70 and 80 years old. So for the time period of Genesis chapter 6, you see even a further decrease of life expectancy on the earth. From immortality to 900, diminishing all the way to 120, to 80 years to 70 years, or 80 years. Let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 14, verse 16. Now, this class is going to be a multiple-part series. We're going to cover all the bases of the diasporic agenda to decrease the population.
2nd Ezra, chapter 14, verse 16. For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter.
So greater evils than the time period of Ezra, which he have seen. Because Ezra didn't see the Greeks. Now, he was given a prophecy concerning them coming to rulership and power, or actually Rome. He was able to see visions, but to actually live it and see it for yourself and experience it is different from seeing it visually. The things that happened during the time period of Ezra was not even close to the things that we're seeing during our time periods. Go on.
For look how much the world shall be weaker through age.
How the world shall be weaker through age. As the world progresses in time, it digresses in strength. That's why you see during the time period of Adam, as sin was entered into the world, you see the diminishing of the age life expectancy. So as the world gets weaker, the life expectancy decreases. Go on.
So much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein.
Go on.
For the truth is fled far away, and leasing is hard at hand.
That's all I want. So the world will get weaker in age. Let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 5, verse 52.
2nd Ezra, chapter 5, verse 52. Say unto her, wherefore are not they whom thou hast now brought forth like those that were before, but less of stature?
So the people back then, because you see scientific discoveries, they say there was giants. You go all around the earth, and there's certain stairs. They say, what are these walls? But you look at it from a distance, there's stairs. There's been remains or findings of human remains of skulls all throughout the earth, or different monuments or designs of architecture that's made for giants. Because why? At one point in time, there were people were a lot taller and greater in stature as well as size than they are today. Men were 14 feet, 12 feet, like it's nothing. That was normal. Go on.
Verse 53. And she shall answer thee, they that are born in the strength of youth are of one fashion.
So they that were born on the strength of the beginning of the creation of the world were of one fashion. Read.
And they that are born in the time of age.
So we're living during the time period of age, even during the time period of Ezra. Go on.
When the womb faileth.
When the womb faileth, meaning when the womb is weakened. Read.
Are otherwise.
Are born of another fashion. Read.
Consider thou therefore also how that ye are less of stature than those that were before you.
So we're not only less in height, less in strength, body mass, and body strength, but we're also less in age. The age keeps on diminishing. Even today, a young boy doesn't even know if he's going to live past the age of 20, 18, 30, because of the wickedness on this earth. Go on.
And so are they that come after you less than ye, as the creatures which now begin to be old, and have passed over the strength of youth.
So everything is diminishing. The earth is diminishing. The soil's diminishing in strength. Our health is diminishing, and it's decreasing our age, where the life expectancy is getting lower and lower and lower. Let's go to 2 Kings chapter 20, verse 5. So showing you how God controls the life expectancy of a human. Who lives or who doesn't live. One man, how much time a man has or how much time a man does not have. Actually, go back to Psalm chapter 9. That's what David said this real quick.
Psalm chapter 90 and verse 12. So teach us to number our days, that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom.
That's why David says, tell me how much time do I have in order to fulfill my mission, so that we know how much effort and time that we put in. Because people think that we have time. YOLO, you only live once. No, people think that tomorrow's promised for us. That's why we tell brothers to addict yourself to the gospel. Make sure you're studying every day. Make sure you're constantly doing the work. Teach it. You notice that the disciples Christ taught in the temples daily? The disciples taught every single day. If you're not dedicating your time and all your efforts to some form of establishing or pushing this gospel, then you're wasting your time on the earth. Your whole purpose, your whole mission was set to being sent on the earth was to accomplish your mission. What God had stored for you, your purpose on the earth. What is your purpose? What is your mission? Just like Isaiah had a mission. He was sent down specifically to teach the gospel, just like we were sent down specifically to teach the gospel. So what is the reason why you were sent down on the earth? And how much time, how many years, how many days, how many hours, how many minutes, how many seconds do you have on the earth? That's why you give an excuse, I'm tired. You give an excuse, I have work. You give an excuse, I don't feel like it. Like the bishop went off, I have battle fatigue. I can't do it, I'm burnt out. Nigga, you don't even know if you're going to live tomorrow. You talk about you burnt out, that might be your last day on the earth. So with all your strength, you got to give everything that's within you to this truth, to establish the gospel. You got to think, if I don't do it, who's going to do it? If I don't go across the sea, who's going to go across the sea?
That's right.
You got to think that God, you're the person that God commissioned it. If you don't do it, it's not going to get done. That should be everybody's thought, because if you think that you're the only person that could get the job done, even though you're not the only person, then you'll get the job done. You do it as if your life is on the line, because you understand, I have only one purpose and one purpose only. It's not to live the delicacies or live the wealth of America that America offers. It's not to live the pleasure that life gives. It's not to relax. Life is not about that. Life and purpose is to wake up our people. That's our only purpose, to keep God's commandments.
That's right.
And wake up the people, wake up the tribes, restore Jacob. That's your only purpose. You brought on the earth for that, and you're going to die fulfilling your purpose. Now, that's why read that again.
So teach us to number our days.
Why? Because God holds our days within a balance. He holds our time, and he determines when it's up. For example, let's go to 2 Kings chapter 20, verse 5.
2 Kings chapter 20, verse 5. Turn again and tell Hezekiah, the captain of my people, thus saith the Lord, the God of David thy father, I have heard thy prayer. I have seen thy tears. Behold, I will heal thee. On the third day thou shalt go up unto the house of the Lord. And I will add unto thy days 115 years.
God says, I will add unto thy days. Remember, God already allotted him to pass away, to be killed, to die. But he says, because of your supplication, I'm going to add to thy days. So God has the ability or the power to add life or death. That's why today's topic is global diasporic agenda to decrease the population. Esau thinks that he controls life and death, not understanding it's the Lord that has the ability to add days or to take away days. They think that they can add life by giving you a pacemaker, give you a heart, give you body parts, performance surgery on you. No, it's the Lord behind all of that. The Lord's the one that commissions life as well as death. He could add to it or he could decrease it. That's his will. It's according to how he feels or it's according to, like I said, your works. Let's go to Matthew chapter 10, verse 28.
Matthew chapter 10, verse 28. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. Are not two sparrows sold for a farthing? And one of them shall not fall on the ground without your Father.
So one of the birds should not even fall to the ground without your Father. So that's why God said, don't fear them that could kill the body. Because it's the Lord that commissions that. If he desires you to be put to death, whether, like it said, to escape the destruction to come forth, or to fulfill your mission, you brought on this earth to fulfill a mission, and a mission accomplished, he takes you out by the hands of somebody else. It's of the Lord's. It's of the Lord if you go out by the other nations, by sickness, by death, by famine, by plagues, by torment, by torture, by disease. Whatever the case won't be, it's not Esau, the one that's controlling the population. It's the Lord. If he wills it, he can't. You know how many people Esau tried to go on the continent and spread his disease on the continent of Africa? You know, it barely touched the people. It's of the Lord if he wants it to touch the continent. You know, in Jamaica, it spread to Jamaica, only like 2 people, maybe 1 person, 2 people died. I bet you they were Chinese. I bet you it wasn't Israel either. The vast majority of people that died were in European countries. God turned their own weapon against them, trying to affect them. It's always on black continent where the diaspora is. They're trying to lower the global population. And it always comes back to bite them too. So none of these things are commissioned. Even if they try to kill the body, God says, no, it's not a bird of farther. Even when one bird drops to the ground, it's not known. It says, and one of them shall not fall on the ground without your Father. Meaning God controls the issues of death. Go on.
But the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Fear ye not, therefore. Ye are of more value than many sparrows.
Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 39 now.
Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 39. See now that I, even I am he, and there is no God with me. I kill and I make alive.
So God says, I'm the one that kills. And I'm the one that also makes alive. Go on.
I wound and I heal.
I wound and God controls everything. There's nothing that happens on this earth that's not reported to the Father or he didn't commission himself. He said, I kill, I make alive. Yes. Every death that happens. So you said, why would God allow that? There's no, remember, the scripture says, who perish not being innocent. Everybody dies for a reason. Whether you think, and you cry, why, Lord, why did this happen? It's the Lord. The Lord has a reason behind everything. We just can't see it. Neither can we understand it. Go on.
Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand.
So neither is there any that could deliver out of the hand of God. Let's go to Psalm chapter 68, verse 20.
Psalm chapter 68, verse 20. He that is our God is the God of salvation. And unto God the Lord belong the issues from death.
Unto God belongs the different issues, the reason why we die. Whether it be through sickness, you might have got hit by a car, you might have contracted a STD, HIV, or some type of STI that leads to your morbidity. You might have died of whatever the case may be. A natural cause of death, the virus, or some type of, like I said, medication, or Yeah, medication. You could have, whatever the case, you may have died. It's of the Lord belongs the issues of death. Is that it? Get me 2 Ezra chapter 5, verse 49.
2 Ezra chapter 5, verse 39.
49.
For like as a young child may not bring forth the things that belong
2
to
Ezra 5:42.
verse 42. And he said unto me, I will liken my judgment unto a ring. Like as there is no slackness of the last, even so there is no swiftness of the first.
God's judgment is like a ring. A ring is circular, meaning God's judgment goes in cycles. It goes in repetitive cycles. That's why Deuteronomy 28, verse 46, it says that a curse shall be upon thee for a sign and a wonder, and upon thy seed forever, meaning the curses are constantly cycling through time, constantly repeating itself. No new thing under the heavens or done under the earth. Go on.
So I answered and said, couldst thou not make those that have been made and be now, and that are far to...
Read it again.
So I answered and said, couldst thou not make those that have been made and be now, and that are for to come at once, that thou mightest show thy judgment the sooner?
So Ezra was saying, could you not have made those that have been made and be now, and that are far to come? You notice how Ezra is showing you three different cycles. He says, so I answered and said, cannot thou make those that have been made, meaning those that were made in the past, and be now, meaning those made in the present, and that might be showed, and that are far to come, and those that are to be made in the future. Can you not have made all those all at once? Ezra was trying to speed up the time to bring the judgment or the end of this or end of the times all at once. Ezra didn't want to wait throughout the years or throughout the different beasts or the different captivities in order to receive salvation, because Ezra knew that he would have to come back, Lord, at one point in time. He might have to come back. He knew that. So he said, Lord, can we just get this over with right now so we could get the promise that was given to us? Go on.
That thou mightest show thy judgment the sooner.
Ezra said, yo, Lord, can you rush the time? Bring those of the past, the present, as well as the future all at once so that we could get this thing cracking, so we could get this thing over with, so we could bring in the kingdom. Ezra was impatient. Listen, as righteous our forefathers were no different from us. Impatient. We're like, Lord, how long? How long we got to go through this? How long that we got to suffer these heathen ruler over us? Go on.
Then answered he me and said, the creature may not haste above the maker.
The creature cannot haste above the maker, meaning it takes time to bring forth God's creation. Go on.
Neither may the world hold them at once that shall be created therein.
So neither should a world hold all at once the things shall be created in, meaning there's different cycles of mankind. God, and there's a reason why, like I said, when it comes to life expectancy, the Lord lowers the life expectancy, and throughout the different generations, he kills off, he has a certain timeline or time period where man comes on this earth and man departs on the earth, and he brings the next up-and-coming generations in order to balance the world so the earth is not overpopulated. It's the Lord that's doing it. That's why God says, I'm the one that killed. I make alive. I heal. I wound. I, the Lord, do all these things. Read that again.
Then answered he me and said, the creature may not haste above the maker, neither may the world hold them at once that shall be created therein.
The world cannot hold all those that want for those that shall be neither may the world hold them at once, meaning all the creation, those are the past, the present, as well as the future. Because remember, the people that was born in the past during the flood, all of them was regenerated back into the present. So God has a cycle of spirits that's being regenerated through the earth. Throughout the generations, God's constantly recycling spirits within their own time period in order to keep a balance of humans populating the earth so it doesn't overpopulate it. God knows the spirits. God knows the measurement of the earth. God did all these things before he created the world. Is there a scripture on that? In Proverbs, I think, in terms of the measurements. Habakkuk, I believe 3:2, when Christ came to measure the earth. Get me in Habakkuk.
Habakkuk chapter 3, verse 6. He stood and measured the earth. He beheld and drove asunder the nations, and the everlasting mountains were scattered. The perpetual hills did bow. His ways are everlasting. I saw the tents of Cushan in affliction.
So read it again, sorry. Read it again.
He stood and measured the earth.
So Christ stood and measured the earth. They had an understanding of the measurement of the earth. How much power is he to use so that he doesn't completely annihilate the earth or annihilate the earth altogether? So you think that God measured the earth in the creation of time? When he created the earth, the mass of the earth, and how many people he's going to put all at once? Get me Proverbs chapter 8, verse 27.
Proverbs chapter 8, verse 27.
Verse 26.
Verse 26. While as yet he had not made the earth, nor the fields, nor the highest part of the dust of the world. When he prepared the heavens, I was there. When he set a compass upon the face of the depth. When he established the clouds above.
I was looking for that. Give me that in Job. What is it in Job? It's 30 and 4 about the, I know you're talking about. 38 and 4. That's about the, okay, read that. Job 38 and 4. Thank you.
Job chapter 38, verse 4. Where wast thou when I laid the foundations of the earth? Declare if thou hast understanding. Who hath laid the measures thereof, if thou knowest? Or who hath stretched the line upon it?
The line upon it is going to the firmament. So who has measured the what?
Who hath laid the measures thereof, if thou knowest? Or who hath stretched the line upon it? Whereupon are the foundations thereof fastened? Or who laid the cornerstone thereof?
So you don't think God measured the earth and understood how many people, how many humans to put on the earth at one point in time, and how many humans in order to determine how much life can humans remember? God gave us animals to eat. So you don't think God has control how many animals to a human, how much that we eat, how much consumption? You don't think God has control of that? Solomon alone was slaughtering, just alone, hundreds of sheep, oxen, animals for one household. So you don't think God measured that, knew how many animals to put on the earth at the same time? Now let's go back to 2nd Ezra.
2nd Ezra chapter 5 and verse 44. Then answered he me and said, the creature may not haste above the maker, neither may the world hold them at once that shall be created therein.
So God understood the global population and all the spirits that was created from the beginning of the times, that if God was to put the past, the present, as well as the future, all those spirits created at the same time, it wouldn't be able to hold the earth. So the measurement of the amount of people placed on the earth during these specific time periods in world history was based upon the measurement of earth, how much people it could contain. So that's why God has to recycle the spirits through his time period. He got to remove these spirits off of the earth at a certain time, and then he has to bring these certain spirits that he created from the beginning of the foundation of the earth back to the earth. Everything is a ring. It's a cycle. Go on.
Verse 45. And I said, as thou hast said unto thy servant, that thou, which givest life to all, hast given life at once to the creature that thou hast created, and the creature bare it. Even so it might now also bear them that now be present at once. And he said unto me, ask the womb of a woman, and say unto her, if thou bringest forth children, why dost thou it not together, but one after another?
So ask a woman. Imagine a woman bringing forth all her 10 or 15 children all at once. You know what happened to her? She'll pop like a damn balloon. Even women that have twins, quintuplets, triplets, quintuplets. What is it? I think, what was the highest number? Was it six? Or I think it's 6 or 8, or was it 9? I don't know, something crazy. Whatever. Was it, how much was it? Octuplets? That's crazy. Imagine a woman, and that's very rare. Ask her how she felt when she brought 8 children all together at the same time. How big her, can you give me a picture? Oh my gosh. Oh Lord Jesus. Look at that. Look at that. Can you imagine? She had 8? She had 8. South Africa. Look at that. She's about to pop. No way. Man, a lot of stitching had to be involved with that thing. Woo. So imagine, ask her, and that's very rare occasions. Imagine her, what she went through. Bringing 10 babies all together is not common. That is not a common thing for a woman to bring 10 babies all at once. Look at, she's about to pop. So imagine bringing all creation, all spirits created from the beginning of times all at once. It wouldn't be able to hold them. That's why, and remember, in Isaiah chapter 49, this is why this statement was made. I think it's Isaiah.
Isaiah chapter 49, verse 20. The children which thou shalt have, after thou hast lost the other, shall say again in thine ears, the place is too straight for me.
The place is too narrow for me. Go on.
Give place to me that I may dwell.
Give me more land. Give me more space that may dwell, because it's understanding that it's only a certain amount of people that can inhabit the earth all at once, so it doesn't overpopulate everywhere. Because when we repopulate Israel alone, if you look at during the time period of slavery, you have some fathers have more than 20 children. You look at through the scriptures, 30 children, 50 children. So imagine in the kingdom, we got nothing but time on our hand. Eternal powers. Our women looking like palaces. You know, and the birth, and even like I said, when it comes to birthing, it's going to be diminished to 3 to 6 months, and with no pain. You know how? You want to talk about rabbits? Listen, I'm going to need my own country. What else do you have to do? You know what I'm saying? Yo, the scripture said we're always good. The kingdom's going to be as if we're always drinking wine. We're going to always be like, yo, we're going to always feel like we're always tipsy. Waking up, like, yo, what are you doing today? I don't got work, so what are we doing? Me and Shorty getting it in all day long. All day long. So what do you think we're going to do? That's all we got to do. Sex and conquer. That's it.
That's right.
I'm sorry. That's how God created us, so I got to speak my truth. Keep going. All right, let's go back. Where were we? Second Ezra.
Second Ezra chapter 5 and verse 46. And he said unto me, ask the womb of a woman, and say unto her, if thou bringest forth children, why dost thou it not together, but one after another? Pray her, therefore, to bring forth 10 children at once.
Damn, that's crazy. She brought 10 children at once, and ask her, how does she feel about that? Go on.
And I said, she cannot, but must do it by distance of time. Then said he unto me, even so have I given the womb of the earth to those that be sown in it in their times.
So that's why God, just like a woman was given the womb to bring forth children, not all at one time. And like I said, there's exceptions. So is the earth. Just the earth is the womb. And God only regenerates spirits within his time period to push it to the end of times. Spirits were created during this time period to bring us to the time that we're living today, in order to issue in the kingdom. Everybody was created during the time. It's like a ladder. Everybody's pushing each other up. Wicked was created for the time. The worst of the nations, Esau, was created for a specific time period. The part of the son of the time, Esau was put in power in order to bring us to where we are right now. That was his time to be put up in rulership and bring us to the end of times. So everybody, is there more of that? Keep reading. Where are we? What verse?
49. For like as a young child may not bring forth the things that belong to the age, even so have I disposed the world which I created.
All right. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 1. So there's a cycle of spirits in order to keep the earth in a balance so it's not overpopulated. The Lord creates these things such as famines, diseases. He takes people out through natural causes such as Jacob. You have Elisha died over a disease. You have many of our fathers died through natural death or torments, torture. Some of the prophets died, were killed. So to the Lord belongs the issues of death. It's the Lord that's weighing the world in a balance, and he's the one that's taking life and giving life in order to keep everything well balanced so it's not overpopulated within that time period. So now, but Esau will come around and say, you know what? No, there is no God. Everything was created through the Big Bang Theory, life form, as well as evolutionary theory. So Esau takes the position of God. He's the one that recreated or reformed creatism rather than go in the book of Genesis. He's the one through his scientific discovery or scientific theory, the one that retold the story of creation. So now he feels the need that he has an intelligence in order to keep the earth well balanced so it's not overly populated. Esau perceives himself that he is God. Ezekiel chapter 28.
Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 1. The word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, thus saith the Lord God.
The prince of Tyrus is hip talk. Remember, Tyre and Zidon was major trading ports, or Tyrus was where Ham, was one of the cities of Ham, or Tyre or Zidon was one of the cities of Canaan, or one of the sons of Canaan, or where Phoenicia, that was a seaport, or the city of palms, or the palm tree. So that's what he did in main training. So Esau took on the characteristics of Tyrus. Esau is now, or America primarily, is one of the biggest import and export trading economic system in the whole world. America controls the import as well as the export. America controls the world global trading system. Go on.
Thus saith the Lord God, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God.
Because Esau's heart is lifted up in what? In pride. Lifted up because why? Esau possessed the military power, the scientific discovery in order to create weapons of mass destruction, just like the atom bomb. You have Oppenheimer that was able to split atoms, collide atoms, whatever, and create a nuclear explosion. And besides, if anybody seen the movie, if you notice within the movie, it was a heavy point. I forgot, quantum physics, right? Quantum physics, the study of and notice how quantum physics, he studied what? How did he come to the conclusion of an atom bomb exploding? Where did it first come from? It was one scene. Huh? You didn't see it yet? How you on Raven and Wolves, the Deacon does a show, and you didn't even see the movie? You guys didn't watch it yet? Oh, gosh. Who saw it? Who saw it? Anybody see it here? All right, you saw it? All right. Giving them, that's the Northern Kingdom? Shame on you. Hey, so remember, he's going over quantum physics. There's a part of the scene that he's describing atoms colliding, or the theory of possibly being able to have atoms collide to create an explosion. Do you know where he got that from? There's one scene when he was studying, remember, through quantum physics, he was studying the what? The stars. And he was discussing how stars explode. And that's how he got the theory, how just like stars explode, we could take the same thing and we could explode, what is it, atoms or what? Atoms. We could explode atoms, huh? We could split atoms and we could cause an explosion. That's why it says, one that's beautiful, one that to make one wise. They got their wisdom how to create an atom bomb from the study of the stars. Keep on playing with Esau. I'm telling you, that's their prophets. We've been trying to tell you the whole time, that's their prophets. If you look at the scene, the one scene, he studied the nuclear explosion by the studying of how stars, the study of stars. That's where he got. Even looking at, it went over your head. Go back to the movie and watch. the beginning of the quantum physics started with it. When he brought it to America, it's through the study of the stars, how he was studying how stars explode, how he could mimic that on Earth. So that's how it started. One to make one wise. Even with Apple. What is his name? Steve Jobs. Do you know where Steve Jobs went prior from creating the company Apple? He went to India. What did he go to India for? To study astrology, astronomy. There's an article on that. And prior to him studying that, that's when he created. He says that's when he got his inspiration. He studied there for years, and after that he came back from India and came back to the Americas and created the Apple company. One to make one wise. Keep playing. I'm telling Esau's prophets, their study, their wisdom comes from the study of the stars. There's wisdom in that. That's why God says don't deal in that. That's wisdom that we're not supposed to dive into. That was given to the left side, and Satan gives them that knowledge to study the stars, their horoscopes. Going to this science, this mathematics behind that. And Esau's able to break the code, or he was given the science or the knowledge of how to do these things, how to use the mathematical equations to create these earthly things, because that's not normal. You cannot normally create a mathematical equation based upon the stars. You cannot even see that you're on Earth. You're a man. The mindset of the human mind, the capacity of information that we could keep, it can't fathom something beyond what's on the Earth. Remember, Ezra said, get that real quick. I know I'm kind of going off on a tangent right now, but I'll come right back. Don't worry, I'll come right back. I got to speak my truth from time to time. So I'll go on a rant, a truth rant. What is it? Captain Get Alive, speak your truth rant, your little righteous rant. 2nd Ezra chapter 4. 2nd Ezra chapter 4, verse, just popped in my head, start at verse, well, 10?
10 and 11, yes, sir.
Yep.
2nd Ezra chapter 4, verse 10. He said, moreover unto me, thine own things, and such as are grown up with thee, canst thou not know? How should thy vessel then be able to comprehend the way of the highest? And the world being now outwardly corrupted, to understand the corruption that is evident in my sight.
There's another one. Let's see, read on.
Then said I unto him, it were better that we were not at all, than that we should live still in wickedness, and to suffer and not to know wherefore.
Give me 1 second. Is it 14? Nope. I think that was it. How can you comprehend? Yeah, that was it. So how can we comprehend the things of the highest? We can't even comprehend the things that's before us on the earth. Show you, dive into the heavens or go into the celestial beings or the celestial astrological constellations out there. You got it? What is it? Okay, you're going into man cannot. Okay, so you read it. Sirach 17, verse 30.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 17, verse 30. For all things cannot be in men, because the Son of Man is not mortal.
The Son of Man is not immortal. You saw the movie Lucy. There's only a certain capacity. It's only a certain capacity that we could access. We're not able to access our full capacity of our brain, because if you access the full capacity of the brain, then you're tapping into your spirit. The flesh keeps us from accessing the spirit. Remember, there's two separate beings within our body. There's the spirit, where the spirit dwells, and there's the flesh. The flesh has a heart of its own, and the spirit has its own mind. So we can't access the spirit. The spirit is its own entity. When we break out of the shell and it goes back to paradise, then we're able to access our full body, our celestial body. That's when we're going to be able to encompass or be able to hold a capacity of the full length of knowledge. We're going to be able to hold all that information. But in his flesh, we cannot. So Esau had to be given that knowledge because he can't go past his flesh. The flesh can only access so much information. Morgan Freeman in the movie Lucy, they show that people can only access only 3%. Even if they access 10%, we could do things that's not even known to man. So imagine accessing a full 100%, you're God. All right, that was my rant for today. Now let's go back to the class topic. Ezekiel 28, verse 1, verse 2.
Ezekiel chapter 28 and verse 2. Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, thus saith the Lord God, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God. I sit in a seat of God in the midst of the seas. Yet thou art a man and not God.
So Esau takes on the position and the authority of God. Now let's go to Revelation 6, verse 8.
Revelation chapter 6, verse 8. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him.
So the spirit that takes hold of Esau is death. Wherever he goes, he brings death. He's that death angel. Read.
And hell followed with him.
And destruction follows with him. Read.
And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth.
So power was given unto him by who? Satan. Power was given from Satan to Esau to rule over the Americas. That's why America, making it about 13% of the world global population, has full access of control over the food, over the resources, over the monetary system. America has one of the largest military globally. So given that, you ask yourself, how is it that America makes up a small percentage of the population, but it controls the vast majority of the resources, the economy, and it controls the monetary system? How is that? Because why? Power was given to America by Satan over the fourth part of the earth. It's only through Satan America is able to rule. And it's not of his own power or his own strength. Power was given to him. Go on.
To kill with sword.
Power was given to him to kill with sword. Power was given to Satan. Was given to Satan by God, and Satan gave it to Esau, because Esau's the one that took the deal. Go on.
And with hunger.
And with hunger. That's why they're creating these global food shortage, thinking that they're the one that's controlling the population. But Esau is just being used by God to create these conditions. Go on.
And with death.
And with death. And these conditions was created because we broke God's laws. Remember, he said, therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, because at one point in time, remember, God's the one that created the famines. He's the one that had the death angel stand above Jerusalem to create these plagues. We have the angel when David saw, when he numbered the children of Israel, and he saw the death angel with the sword and people that's dying on the mass. Christ was that death angel that killed, what is it? I forgot how many, 30,000 or something crazy, 20,000 or more. No, I'm talking about during the wilderness. That was a spirit. Now, who's the death angel that God uses? Esau. He's that angel of death that he used. Go on.
And with the beast of the earth.
And with the beast of the earth, going to zoonosis, splitting of cells, mixing in human DNA to create these diseases, these global pandemics, your coronavirus, your H1N1, your swine flu, your bird flu, your HIV. Go on. Okay, that was it. So get me the video of, what video do I want? I want the Rockefeller video. The Rockefeller article.
John D. Rockefeller, III, statesman and founder of the Population Council.
Let's go down. Let's go.
This is the fifth in a series of profiles of the people who have most influence thinking about population over the past century. The profiles bring you the insights of contemporary population specialists on the contributions of their predecessors. The motivation for John D. Rockefeller's interest in population issues eluded many of his closest associates and advisors. It grew out of his humanity and his concern for the well-being of all people.
Bullshit. All right, keep going.
Indeed, he took a broad view of population control as a means to address poverty and economic development rather than as an end in itself. His first public undertaking came in 1952 when he initiated the convocation of the Conference on Population Problems in Williamsburg, Virginia. This discussion took up food supply, industrial development, depletion of natural resources, and political instability resulting from unchecked population growth.
And these are the different categories that they're attacking today. Now, they're making it seem that he had a concern for the people and a concern when it comes to the food supply and overpopulation and the reduction and the reducing of food. It doesn't make any sense because their concern is food supply and the overpopulation. People, they're not being enough food, but today, what are they doing? They're burning the plants. So it's not about the food. Their concern is not about how much food. They're burning the plants, the chicken plants, they're killing the animals, they're poisoning the birds. So it's never been a concern or for the population. There's too many people. There's not enough food for the people. No, these people, this is the devil. They give this as an excuse to the masses, but inwardly in the secret meetings, they're saying, okay, how can we control? Because that's the power that was given to them to kill. Go on. There's the devil. There's no reason for them to control the population. That's not the reason for it. Because if that's the case, why would they kill off the livestock? Why would they burn the factories that produce the food? Why would they do that? Why would they create food that has diseases? That make no sense. What did you want to pay? Why would you pay farmers not to plant? It makes no sense. Go on.
The presence of medical doctors, chemists, geologists, economicists, and other scientists gave serious weight and prominent attention to the emerging and unrecognized facts of demographic change. Mm-hmm. Soon after this conference, Rockefeller established the Population Council. From philanthropic funds at his disposal, he provided $1 million within the first year of operations. In 1967, Rockefeller initiated, lobbied heavily for, and finally achieved a world leader's statement signed by 30 heads of state, including U.S. President Lyndon Johnson.
What do you guys notice about that? 1967. For some reason, everything seems to fall around the 1960s. The reduction of global population has never been a concern for the people, but the reduction has always been. The reduction has always been the prevention of a black Messiah. It's always been in the plan and the working. Esau always knew the time period. A lot of things that have been set in place was set in place before, or councils and committees have been held prior to the year 1960s. Esau plans in advance for generations to come and implements these plans during a time period. That's why they have the abortion. Nathan Bernardson, you have the father of abortion today. You have the Stonewall riots happened during that 1969, 1971, around that same time period. You have the prison, I'll say you had no. You have, quiet. The rat experiment. Calhoun, thank you. Was it Nathan Calhoun? Nathan Calhoun with the rat experiment that was implemented in 1954. John Calhoun, 1954. And then you have the projects in Chicago. Two of the projects, what are they called again? Sons of a Sea. I forgot the project. I did that class years ago. So all these things were done in advance in order to prevent a black Messiah, to create conditions that it nurtures an environment that a woman kills the kid, nurtures an environment that we don't produce as much. Women starts aborting the babies, men starts going to prison, women starts raising the children by themselves, so that what? Prevent a black Messiah, to keep us lowly, keep us uneducated, because they understood the prophets come back. Daniel was a prophet. He was extremely smart. The prophets were intellectual men. The prophets were men that was able to take reality, see things for what they are, and fix it, to dumb down the nation. So there's certain precautions that was taken years in advance, decades in advance. It was implemented on the world global stage in the 1960s to prevent the rise of Elijah the prophet. Keep reading.
The values and beliefs enumerated included the ideas that the population problem must be recognized by government as a principal element in long-range planning, and that the objective of family planning is the enrichment of human life, and that it frees man to attain his individual dignity and reach his full potential.
Lies.
No mention of women, but the relevance of the status of women had not yet permeated the policy's consciousness. This document drew attention to population growth as a world problem and engendered political support for family planning as the solution. 3 years later, President Nixon established a commission on population growth and the American future.
So Rockefeller, Nixon, remember, Rockefeller wasn't a president. He was just one of the elites, one of the families, one of the wealthy families in America that presented the idea, and Nixon took it, showing you that it's the elites, these families that run the United States. The person that sits in a position, a seat of authority, a presidency, was placed there by these families that run America, that run the financial system, that run the Federal Reserve, that run the banking institution, that bought America. The government is run by families. This whole country is run by families. A world government with who's over the government? America's in a deficit. By who? Who does America's the richest country. Who does America owe money to? America prints money. So who do they owe money to? Families. Go on.
Several issues that the commission hotly debated mirrored what would become the Cairo agenda. Some members felt, for instance, that consideration of the social and economic circumstances of women went beyond the commission's purview, examining from a demographic perspective the need for safer, more secure fertility control.
That's when Planned Parenthood was, I would say Nathan Bernardson was introduced, when they had that committee, and they integrated within the feminist agenda, I would say, reproductive rights. So all of that was a conversation that was implemented. I think during that time period was 1969 or 1970, that during, I think there was a second wave or so, that's when they incorporated the two. I forgot the exact date. Keep going.
The most controversial issue was abortion. Members of the commission disagreed, but the majority called for creating a clear and positive framework for the practice of abortion on request. A furor ensued, with the president rejecting the recommendations of his own commission, and Rockefeller became embroiled in a public debate about the legalization of abortion. Undaunted, Rockefeller again addressed the board's social and economic issues of development, poverty, and the lives of women in his controversial 1974 Bucharest speech. Speaking at the World Population Conference, he called for new and urgent attention to the role of women as a vital characteristic of modern development. Many people who have worked on developing contraceptive methods and family planning as the primary means to reduce population growth saw the text as a professional and personal rejection. Although Rockefeller regretted the personal nature of the debate, its intensity did not surprise him. As his advisor, I had told him frankly how his words would be received.
That's good, that's good. Give me the next video. The Bill Gates video, population control. Showing you that the world globally, so you ask yourself a question, why not prior? Why during that time period? Because it was everything was set in place for the times that we're living right now, for the Great Awakening of the 12, trying to prevent not just one black Messiah, but a whole nation of Messiahs, saviors being born on the earth. Go on, play.
For the purpose of sterilization and population control, there's too many people on the planet we need to get rid of. In the words of Bill Gates, at least 3 billion people need to die. So we'll just start off in Africa. We'll start doing our research there, and we'll eliminate most of the...
Stop. Now, pause. Stop the press. Now, I want you to pay attention. Notice how it started with the United States, first and foremost, around the 1960s. Fast forward, Africa really wasn't too much of a conversation until later on. Now we're talking about Africa on a world global scheme. There's more attention being brought to Africa. You know why? Because Esau is following the timelines. They're trying to follow prophecy. They understand that they try to attack America. Now what are they trying to attack? They're trying to attack the diaspora. So they originally attacked America They try to attack the diaspora concerning the diseases, HIV and stuff like that. But now you're starting to see more so preemptive strikes towards Africa. We're going to show you more of it, what's going on in Africa right now, and just globally what's happening, and why they keep on attacking Africa. There's a reason why. Go on.
Because they're deplorable. They're worthless. They're not part of this world economy. So they have their rights taken away, and they're suppressed, and they're experimented. Yeah, well, these are not my words. These are Bill Gates' words. Yeah. Just Google Bill Gates and depopulation and sterilization. You'll hear out of his own mouth the plan. And then if that's not enough for you, then listen to Henry Kissinger in his words, where he talks about how this is a win-win situation, and the mandation and mandating vaccines is part of the plan for depopulation.
So they said they want to kill 3 billion, not their people. And when it comes to population control, it's not population control concerning their people, because they're trying to pay their own people to have more babies. Get me Psalm chapter 49, verse 11. So when it comes to population control, it's control of the population of blacks throughout the diaspora. Because if you can't target, because Esau can't pinpoint or target, because remember, Israel's been scattered throughout the 4 corners of the earth. And it's kind of hard to tell who's who now because of mixing in the different tribes. Esau created the world confusion when he renamed, reclassified, when he broken up Africa, and when the tribes were mixed in. So that's why you had Sam Kesselbaum when he asked Bishop, how do you know where to go? They're trying to determine spiritually where we go next and how we locate in the tribes. Remember, Isaiah 11:11 talks about the location of different tribes. Esau's trying to play catch up. He's trying to follow it. That's why they're monitoring our classes. Where are we going next? And everywhere we go, they're attacking those places individually. They're attacking those countries. They're shutting them down. They're trying to push the diseases over there. Why? They're trying to attack it so that they can prevent not only the black Messiah raising up in America, but globally. Remember, there's more than one Savior. There's Saviors throughout the whole world. So they're trying to follow the Spirit. They're trying to trace us or track us to see where the Spirit is leading us so they can attack that to prevent the rise of the next world Messiahs or the next Messiahs to come. What did I ask for? Psalms 49 verse 11.
Psalm chapter 49 verse 11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever.
So Esau's inward thought is that their houses will continue forever. Read.
And their dwelling places to all generations.
Mm-hmm.
They called their lands after their own names.
So when it comes to population control, it's not coming to control of their own population. It's to control the population of those of the diaspora, the 12 tribes. And the reason being, they're trying to reduce the population. Get me Hosea chapter 1 verse 10. They understand that we're the majority, and they're the minority. It's never been the case that we're the minority. They try to claim that, blacks make about 13% in Americas. That's what they say. And that's just Judah alone. That's not the case, because they don't count every day. Listen, not all black people answer their door when the census come around. They're knocking on the door. Who you, nigga? Who you at my door? They ain't go to the hood. They ain't go to the Chicago. So, they can only count some people, certain people. And forget Issachar. Ephraim pops out 10 kids at a time. And forget Issachar, Northern Kingdom. Then you got the diaspora. We make up the majority. Read that.
Hosea chapter 1 verse 10. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea.
So population control is not for their population. They're not trying to reduce it's for their children, that their dwelling places should be forever. So it says that the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea. We make up the vast majority. That's why the guy that said it himself, Bill Gates' plan is to wipe out 3 billion Africans. Not Africans, Israelites. That's their global world scheme. That's their global scheme, to wipe out 3 billion of the Israelite population, because we make up the sand of the sea. That's why it's a global epidemic. They're trying to hit all nations. They don't care about the other nations, populations. They don't care about them. They care about us, scattered to all nations. Go on.
Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered.
And I haven't found evidence yet, but I think there's a reason why the bomb was dropped at Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I'll just leave it there on the table. But the Spirit might reveal it later, but I have an assumption why it was dropped there. Go on.
And it shall come to pass that in a place where it is said unto them, ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living God.
Ye are the sons of the living God. So the children of Israel make up the sands of the sea that cannot be measured nor numbered. That's why they have a census, in order to measure us as well as number us, so they can know, okay, what do we have to put in place? How can we prevent them from repopulating? How can we poison the water? How can we sterilize their women? How can we put contraceptives out there so that they don't populate further? How can we create diseases to reduce their population? These are different, like I said, things that they're putting in place in order to prevent us from overpopulating. But for some reason, we keep on populating more and more. The more that they try to come against us, the more we keep populating. Get the next one, Kamala Harrison. Got it?
They really don't hide their secrets anymore.
Let the big secret about climate change spill out. Take a listen.
When we invest in clean energy and electric vehicles and reduce population.
Oops. Play that again.
They really don't hide their secrets anymore.
Let the big secret about climate change spill out. Take a listen.
When we invest in clean energy and electric vehicles and reduce population.
What does that have
for the
to
purpose
do?
of sterilization?
What does reduced population have to do with electric vehicles and clean energy? That shows you when it comes to the world or the green energy plan, that's just or I forgot what they call it. When the green energy go green, that's just a front for global or population control. That's the agenda. The Most High allows them to slip out from the tongue. Get me the next video. So, yep. No. Don't get that yet. Don't get that yet. So, we're going to touch through this series the different forms of population controls globally throughout the diaspora. You got the LGBTQ is one of the main instruments that they're utilizing in order to reduce or to control the population of the masses, and primarily black people. You also got diseases. You have food. You got experimental drugs, vasectomy, birth controls, and Christianity. You might say, why Christianity? We're going to go into that. So we're going to hit all those different forms of population control. Let's get Revelation chapter 11, verse 8. So we're going to start with the LGBTQ or Sodom agenda.
Revelation chapter 11, verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt.
So their dead bodies. Let's get Proverbs chapter 21, verse 16. We went over this many times. Proverbs 21, verse 16. So when it says their dead bodies, it's going to the dead bodies of our people, the Israelites. We're not physically dead, but we're spiritually dead. Proverbs 21, verse 16.
Proverbs chapter 21, verse 16. The man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead.
So when we wander out of the understanding who we are, our culture, who our God is, what our Messiah looks like, our purpose in life, and our purpose in life and our identity. We wander out of the way of understanding. When we wander out of the laws of God, we walk in the congregation of the dead. Our people are walking around spiritually dead. Dead to our culture, dead to our nationality, dead to our purpose, dead to the love of one another. We're the walking dead. Let's go back.
Revelation chapter 11, verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt.
And that's why it says spiritually. They're not physically dead, but they're spiritually dead. We're the only people that walk through the streets that people drive by, and they actually have tours going through the hood, looking at the conditions of our people. People that actually record and drive by Kensington and Allegheny when they call, or Kensington Beach. When you see drones of our people lying on the side, drugged and cracked up on heroin and fentanyl. When you go to L.A. and Skid Row, when you see our people living under the bridges, living in tents, living in poverty, cracked up and drugged high, or women prostituting ourselves. That's a nation of dead people. When you have a people that don't have a country, that don't have their own community, that don't have any laws. When you look at the conditions, we're walking dead, spiritually dead. And you can see it in our facial expression. You can see it in our kids. You can see it in our women. Every day you see it in our people. Which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. So America is that great city, Babylon the Great. When America is the place of confusion, get me that in Revelation chapter 14, verse 8. So America is that great city, one of the greatest countries on the earth. Babylon also means the land of confusion. Confusion when two men lie together. Confusion when two women lie together. That's confusion. God said at the beginning for man and woman to be fruitful and to multiply, to replenish the earth. But Esau says that a man can marry a man and a woman can marry a woman. Go on.
Revelation chapter 14, verse 8. And there followed another angel, saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city.
So Babylon is that great city, the city of confusion. Get me that in Isaiah chapter 19, Isaiah chapter 24. So Babylon comes from Babel, the land of confusion. Babylon, Lan means land. Babel is confusion, the land of confusion. When two men can marry each other and two women can marry each other, despite God saying be fruitful and multiply, and not understanding that a man cannot procreate with a man. A woman cannot procreate with a woman. It's against nature. Isaiah chapter 24, verse 10.
Isaiah chapter 24, verse 10. Mm-hmm. The city of confusion is broken down.
The city of confusion, Babylon, that great city, is the city of confusion when a man can marry a man and a woman can marry a woman. When a man could be dressed as a woman, or you have transgender rights, to the point that we're arguing gender as a whole. When a man could even have sexual relations with a child and call it minor attracted child. What is it? Minor attracted persons, rather than call them what it is, a pedophilia. Now they're classifying it as minor attracted persons. When a man can have sexual relationship with a young child. And that's his sexual preference. So Babylon, America, is a city of confusion. Now let's go to the Pope. Yep. And let's cue up the next image.
Ser homosexual no es un delito, es una condición humana. Somos todos hijos de Dios. Y Dios nos quiere como estamos y con la fuerza que luchamos cada uno por nuestra dignidad. El ser homosexual no es un delito. No es un delito. Sí, pero es pecado. Bueno, primero, distingamos pecado por delito.
Stop.
Pero también
Let's make, wait, stop. Go back to that. Let's make it, he says being homosexual is not a crime. Let's therefore make a distinction between sin and a crime. Let's go with sin.
1 John chapter 3, verse 4.
And that's why within the global scheme or the world agenda for population control is tied in with the Roman Catholic Church as well as the Christian Church. All of them have a hand on this because he said that there's a distinction between that homosexuality is not a crime because you have African countries such as Uganda, Kenya, Ghana. I'll say the majority of the African countries are against LGBTQ agenda that's being pushed on it. And you gotta ask yourself a question. What is it to you if I decide for the people of my nation, my culture, which I establish my rights and laws, what does that have to do with you if I decide that I want to pass laws against a lifestyle that's not conducive, that does not fit the cultural climate that we were raised in, that doesn't fit the customs that we were born in, that does not fit the traditions of our tribesmen? What does that have to do with you? What is your agenda? What is behind the scenes? What are you doing? What is the reason behind it? Why are you pushing something so hard? If it's something that's natural, right? If you're born this way, why is it that you got to put it on a global scheme? It's not natural. It's not normal. There's a world global agenda to decrease the population, primarily the population of the Israelites scattered to the diaspora. And the other nations know that. One of the presidents of Uganda has made a statement that says the strength of a nation is the family. Because the birth of a nation comes from the husband and the wife. And from there, just like first Adam was formed, then Eve. And then from the two of them came mankind. That's how we have the people on the earth today that we have today. But if you have Adam and Steve, then can we have the people that we have today? No, you cannot. So they're trying to use the LGBTQ movement as a form of population reduction, and it's not a form for it being a natural occurrence from God. It's not. It's used as an agenda, a global agenda behind it. And that's why America is pushing it in their school system. They're pushing it in your curriculum. They're pushing it out in the churches. They're pushing it on a political the political platform. They're pushing it into every aspect, every category, every department. They're pushing it everywhere. Now, pull it up, sin. So he said there's a distinction between sin and a crime. Read sin.
Sin, an immoral act considered to be a transgression against divine law.
Against an immoral act considered to be a transgression against divine law. Let's see some of the synonyms.
Immoral act, wrong, wrongdoing, act of evil or wickedness, transgression, crime.
Sin is crime. Let's get Ezekiel chapter 7. That's what we tell you coming out of these churches. The Pope don't know the Bible. This is supposed to be a man of God, God on earth. This is the man that's supposed to be connected to God himself. The what? The victor. What is it, the victor? So Christ, meaning the devil is vicariously through him. The vicar. So this is the man that's supposed to have direct ties, the mediator between God and us. He's the one supposed to have the divine, he's supposed to be the divine mediator between God and man. But he just said sin, there's a distinction between sin and a crime. We went to the definition himself. The white man said it, you lie. Sin and crime is synonymous. Read that in Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 22.
Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 22. My face will I turn also from them, and they shall pollute my secret place, for the robbers shall enter into it and defile it. Make a chain, for the land is full of bloody crimes, and the city is full of violence.
Bloody crimes go to killing, murder. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not steal. Bloody crimes mean bloody acts of sin against God's laws. Play the Pope.
Ser homosexual no es un delito. No es un delito. Sí, pero es pecado. Bueno, primero, distingamos pecado por delito. Pero también es pecado la falta de caridad con el prójimo. ¿Y vos cómo andás?
So he said it's a sin to lack charity with one another. So what about that? So it's charitable to have another man insert his penis into another man's rectum? That's what you call charitable? And along with the global population, when you see the privatization of the prison institution and the overpopulation of black men within the prison system, it's another agenda, homosexual agenda. Because of the vast majority of the people that filters through the prison institution, what happens? They get raped. A lot of them gets turned out. A lot of them come out of the prison homosexual. You had an example of what's the booty warrior? Huh? Fleece Johnson, yes. So we have an example of him going to the system at a young age of 16-year-old, coming out homosexual. Because why? It's natural for a man to engage in sexual acts with a woman. That's why God says it's not good for a man to be alone. He made him his wife. He gave him Eve for helping her stay. Paul even said, not to, in 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 5, not to defraud one another. Let Satan tempt you through your incontinency. Because why? Satan will intervene because it's natural for a man to desire of a woman. He has those natural lustful desires for a woman. That's within our nature. God placed that and encoded that within our DNA to desire a woman, her body, and the precious things of her body, so that what? So that we can repopulate, so that we can procreate. Right. That was encoded within our DNA when we were created, and that's why it's a natural occurrence. That's why so much fornication. The primary sin all throughout the earth is what? Sex. Sex, sex, sex. Because that's one of the first things that was implemented. Be fruitful and multiply. So what happens when you take a woman out of the equation? A man naturally has lustful tendencies. And you keep a bunch of sweaty men locked up in a prison for life. What do you think was going to happen? And eventually, Satan's going to tempt him. He's going to look at another man and say, shoot, I got to get it off somehow. That's the closest thing I can find to release myself. So they engage in homosexual acts. So the prison, I'll say, for the mass incarceration of black as well as Latino is another form of population control and the Sodom agenda. So now, where was I? Did we finish the video? Yeah, go back to the video. I'm not sure if we finished it. That was the last part? Okay. Get me Genesis chapter 13, verse 12. Ooh, 11, 12. Ooh, got a lot more scriptures too. Yep, Genesis 13, verse 12.
Genesis chapter 13, verse 12. Abram dwelled in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelled in the cities of the plain, and pitched his tent towards Sodom. But the men of Sodom were wicked and sinners before the Lord exceedingly.
So the men of Sodom were wicked and were sinners before the Lord exceedingly. That's why America is called Sodom, spiritual Sodom. During the time period before the destruction of Sodom, it says the men of Sodom was wicked and before the Lord exceedingly. It said were wicked and sinners before the Lord exceedingly. It's no different from America. Get me that in Revelation chapter 18, verse 4. Prior to Sodom and Gomorrah, at the height of Sodom, at the height of sodomy, afterwards came what? The destruction. At the height of America's wickedness is going to come what? The destruction. God requires that which is past to the present. Read that.
Revelation chapter 18, verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye may not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God have remembered her iniquities.
So just like during the time period of Sodom, the men of Sodom was exceedingly wicked and sinners above all. Just like in America taking on the same attributes as well as characteristics of Sodom, when the men was exceedingly wicked. And what followed up with the Sodom coming to the height of the empire and the wickedness, God says, I can't take it anymore. You got niggas walking around with purses and dresses on, sashaying. What do you think the Lord said? I can't take it. Kill all them niggas. What do you think is going to happen in America when you see Vin Rain walking down the street, 6'4", a hairy back, big broady looking dude with a skirt on and a pocketbook saying, hey, bruh, the Lord must destroy this place, for it's exceedingly wicked. Now go to Jude chapter 7. So Sodom and Gomorrah was exceedingly wicked. And you got to ask yourself a question. What was coming? Sodom comes from sodomy, meaning engage in homosexual acts or having unnatural sex. Oh, gosh. I guess you want to put that on the screen. Whatever, man. You just could put stuff on the screen.
Jude, verse 7. Even as Sodom and Gomorrah.
Bro, are you going to put it on the screen? You're going to keep it in front of me. I got to look at that damn thing. What the hell? Yeah. You vexing my spirit right now. What's that dude? I got to look at the damn dude with a black hat on with a red dress on. Vexing my spirit. All right, go on. Verse 7.
Even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them in like manner.
Wait, even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the what?
And the cities about them in like manner.
It wasn't just Sodom and Gomorrah. It was like 5 cities, I believe. It says in the cities about them in like manner. So it started with Sodom, then what? It spread it. Just like in America, it started in America, and then what is happening? They're spreading their agenda. So just like in Sodom in America, they're spreading their agenda, the Sodom agenda. It's spreading throughout the cities around them. And America's agenda of sodomy is spreading globally throughout the diaspora. America has more reach globally. Go on.
Giving themselves over to fornication.
Giving themselves over to fornication. Now remember, it says fornication. Sodom is just one aspect and form of fornication. Remember, Leviticus 18 lists the different forms of fornication. Why? The fornication was based upon what the other nations were doing. Give me Leviticus chapter 18 after this. Go on.
And going after strange flesh.
And going after strange flesh. Strange flesh, man with man, woman with woman, man with kids, man with beasts. All that strange flesh, inordinate affection. Go on.
Are set forth for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire.
Just like Sodom was burnt with fire, it's the same thing that America is going to be burnt. Remember, Sodom was burnt by what? The fire from heaven. America is going to be burnt with what? Fire from heaven. Like Sodom and Gomorrah. Let them reign. Go to Leviticus chapter 18 now.
Leviticus chapter 18, verse 22.
So it says, strange flesh and fornication. Start at verse 2.
Leviticus chapter 18, verse 2. Speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them, I am the Lord your God. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do.
Go on.
And after the doings of the land of Canaan, whither I bring you, shall ye not do.
Why? Because the other nations, the Egyptians, as well as the people of Canaan prior to us, they were participating in all the things that we read below. You notice how the laws was made based upon what the other nations were doing? Wherever we go, that's what was naturally within us. I want you to think about it. The flesh, the laws was made in order to keep our flesh in subjection, to keep it in check. Think about it. It says the imaginations of men, in Genesis 6, when God destroyed, he says, the imaginations of the thoughts of men was exceedingly wicked. Evil continually, thank you. You know how many thoughts dwell in your flesh? That God had to make a law for every thought that comes from your flesh? These are the thoughts that, remember, your flesh have a mind of its own. That's what it says when the thoughts of man was exceedingly wicked. Mark 7 verse 21 says, out of the heart of man proceed evil thoughts. Galatians chapter 5 verse 16 goes into the spiritual battle, the spirit and the flesh. There's 2 different minds operating. You have the mind of the spirit, which the laws supposed to dwell in. That's that person that's telling you, don't do that, don't steal, don't kill. That's the Lord that was born with us. This is the fear of the Lord was born with the righteous in the womb. So that fear is there. The law is there within our spirit. But the flesh also has a heart in its own. And with the heart and the flesh is the laws that God made against that. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not steal. That's the mind of the flesh. Thou shalt not commit fornication. Thou shalt not lie with mankind. These are all thoughts that come from the flesh. The flesh has a mind of its own. The laws are put in place in order to combat the flesh of the mind of the flesh. Leviticus, keep going.
Verse 3.
Start at verse. Yep. Nope, you read that.
Yes, sir.
Now go to verse 10.
Verse 10. The nakedness of thy son's daughter, or of thy daughter's daughter, Even their nakedness thou shalt not uncover.
So the nakedness of thy son's daughter, or even thy daughter's daughter, what is that going into? Your granddaughter. What do we call that? Pedophilia. So the nakedness of thy son's daughter or thy daughter's daughter shall you not what?
Shall ye not uncover, for theirs is thine own nakedness.
So as it is today, was it in Sodom and Gomorrah? It says giving himself to fornication. There was committing himself, giving himself to fornication or pedophilia, or what they call today is minor attracted persons. God requires the things of the past to be the present or the future. So these things happen. So the things that we experience and witness today, what's happening back during the time, we got to put ourselves in a perspective. And this homosexuality, there's more than homosexuality. There's pedophilia. Pedophilia is in the Bible. Not to have thy son's daughter or thy daughter's daughter. That's going to the grandchild. That's going to the youth. Participating or engaging in pedophilia activity. Go to Genesis chapter 38. Because why? There's always an age limit. That's why the world, we're not of the world. The world is, that's why Christ says, a wicked, adulterous generation requires a sign. James also said, the friends of the world is enmity with God. You adulterers and adulteresses. The friendship of the world is enmity with God, because this is what the world is. This world is full of fornication, adultery, sexual deviancy, sexual immorality. Read.
Genesis chapter 38, verse
11.
11. Then said Judah to Tamar, his daughter-in-law, remain a widow at thy father's house, till Shelah my son be grown. For he said, lest peradventure he die also, as his brethren did.
So there was an age limit, meaning there was an age which a young man, which somebody can engage in marriage. 20 and older. That's always been an age. The age of a man could go to war, Deuteronomy 24. As well as a woman, because why? Mentally, it takes time for a man as well as a woman psychologically to mature, as well as the body to catch up to the mindset. But if you intervene and engage with a woman sexually before her body is able to fully mature, you're disrupting the cycle. And then that's why when they get older, they're psychologically destroyed, because their body and their mind, with their body, as their body's developing, the mind has to develop. That's why God said, give it time. Let the two grow together to a certain time period. God knows what he made. Give me the next article. So you would think that these things are uncommon, to have your daughter's daughter or your son's daughter. Morgan Freeman. So I'm not saying whether or not it's true, but these are the things, the rumors that's happening, that's occurring.
Morgan Freeman is accused of having an affair with his granddaughter.
So Morgan Freeman was accused of having, well, whether it's right or wrong, I don't know. But I'm not going to read the whole article because of time, but just go up a little bit. Go down. So just to summarize it, the granddaughter, read in 2015.
In 2015, Adina was the fatal victim of her boyfriend, who took her life away a few months after speaking about her grandpa feelings, a tragic ending to a very strong accusation. The man who was found guilty for the assassination declared that he was a witness of their affair and that was the reason for his crime.
So Morgan Freeman's granddaughter was put to death. It was always a rumor going around saying that he was dealing with her sexually. So this is based upon accusations and rumors. Like I said, I don't know if it's any validity to it, but these are the things that are actually happening. And Hollywood is weird too. Give me the next one. So pedophilia is very common. It's common in Greece. It was common in Rome. And the same thing happened in Sodom and Gomorrah. Also, it's happening today. So these spirits are the same spirits being recycled through time, coming back, bringing the same wickedness. God's going to bring everything together, bring it to America, and destroy it in America. That's why it says America has become a cage of unclean and foul spirits. God's going to destroy all the wicked and demonic spirits here. Because America is the source of everything. Read.
Woody Allen is creepy as F about his marriage to Soon Yi in new interview. Okay. I've been able to really make her life better. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter published on Wednesday, Woody Allen has yet again waxed paternal about his marriage to wife and former sort of adopted daughter, Soon Yi Previn. Spoiler alert, the entire interview is all kinds of creepy and condescending.
Go down. Ooh, both of them idiots. Golly. Thank the Lord I was born an Israelite. Oh, Lord. These people, idiots. Oh, let me get back on topic. Oh, shoot. Go on.
A bit of background. In 1992, Allen's relationship with actress and activist Mia Farrow crumbled under the revelation that he had had an affair with her 20-year-old adopted daughter, Soon Yi Previn. Previn and Allen were married in 1997. More recently, in February of 2014, his adopted daughter, Dylan Farrow, published a letter accusing Allen of sexually assaulting her when she was a child. The original accusations of this abuse in 1993 were part of a sensational story about the celebrity split between Allen and his girlfriend, Mia Farrow, according to Letter's introduction by Nicholas Kristoff.
So these are common practices. Hollywood is filled with child pedophilia, molestation, rape, child trafficking. So pedophilia is the same. It's nothing new under the sun. That's why we're seeing to be more brought on a global scheme, because what happened in Sodom, the height of Sodom and the destruction of Sodom is going to be the height of America. And we're going to see things increase. And that's why I said to Ezra, God said to Ezra, there's going to be more things. Wickedness is going to grow on the earth. Evil is going to grow on the earth. Haste to flee for these times. Go to Genesis chapter 19, verse 1.
Genesis chapter 19, verse 1. There came two angels to Sodom at even, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. And Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them. And he bowed himself with his face toward the ground. And he said, Behold now, my lords, turn in, I pray you, into your servant's house, and tarry all night, and wash your feet. Ye shall rise up early and go on your ways. And they said, Nay, but we will abide in the street all night. And he pressed upon them greatly, and they turned in unto him, and entered into his house. And he made them a feast, and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat. But before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young, all the people from every quarter.
It says both old and young. The Bible doesn't indicate an age, showing you that it's going to come a time period, and you see it today. At some of the LGBTQ parades, you have young children there engaged in the parade. You don't think things are happening to them? When you have Madonna going to Africa to adopt children and bring them to the States, and you see your son grow up. Thank you. Bring that up. And you see the son grow up dressing like a woman. What do you think that started? Because the child was sexually exploited. He was trafficked. He was raped. He was molested. People just don't change like that. That just don't happen. So all of a sudden he was born gay from Africa? That's not a common practice in Africa. He was raised that way. He was groomed that way. These are groomers. They go to Haiti. They go to Africa. They have these, or you have the Red Cross. You have some of these organizations, NGOs, these organizations that set up shop, organizations of pedophiles, that set up shop and rape the children, that molest the children, that sex traffic the children, that participate in homosexual acts or pedophilic acts. Look at this. Charlie Sheen. You know, I had a dream about her. I was walking by, and it was a tennis court. And as I was walking by in a tennis court, it was funny. My wife told me, I was moving in my dream. She was like, yo, why are you reaching for your... She said, I was reaching for my pants. I put my hand in my pants, reaching for something. Because I saw Charlie Sheen, and I saw the young child, dressed like the young boy, dressed as a girl. So in a dream, I started talking crazy. I started cursing her out. And there was a black woman. I started cursing the black woman out. So the black woman came after me, tried to attack me. I said, and Charlie seen, she said, yo. He said, yo, you in that cult? You did the cult, the Israelites? So she started cursing me out, saying I'm on the cult, Israel. And I started cursing the black woman out, saying, yo, how you gonna, how you gonna affiliate yourself knowing that this woman's exploiting our children and molesting them? So the black woman started running her mouth. I reached to the strap. She tried to hit me. I said, you know what? I can't take this anymore. My wife's like this. She said, yo, are you okay? She said, yo, you was reaching for something. That was me in the flesh trying to reach for the strap in a dream. I couldn't take it. But that was a dream. The scripture says, be at peace with all men. We're going to prophesy. Now let's go back. So it says the men of the Sodom. It says young, old, and young. The Bible doesn't indicate the age. You don't think that they was involved in pedophilia activities? And it says that all the town, everybody was gay. So you don't think that what was yesterday is going to be today? It's going to evolve to the point that you're going to have to watch your back, literally. Everywhere you go, it's going to be all around you. That you're going to literally have to watch yourself. We're going to have to watch each other. We're going to have to make sure we watch our kids. We're going to have to take our children out of the school system because they even infiltrated the school system, the curriculum that they're pushing. They will have drag queen reading time. And they don't even have to tell you that they're doing this. So we need your brothers and sisters with context. We need your brothers and sisters to help us in our efforts because we have a lot of work to do. We got to take our kids outside of the school system. But let's go back to Leviticus 18, verse 22. So the whole city was participated in homosexual lascivious activities, sexual deviancy, participated in lesbianism, transgenderism, pedophilia, bestiality. Everything that you're seeing today was happening yesterday. It's no new thing under the sun. Read that.
Leviticus chapter 18, verse 22. Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind.
So thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. Go on.
It is abomination.
So it is abomination according to the Bible. God never says for Adam and Steve to be you can't be fruitful. There's no fruit that comes from two men. A fruit requires a seed. A man cannot plant a seed. If you plant your seed in another man, it's going to die and come out the drought. So be fruitful and multiply. The fruit is placed within the womb. The fruit of the womb produces children. Being gay is not a disease, but it is a disorder. Now let's keep reading.
Neither shalt thou lie with any beast to defile thyself therewith.
And this the hypocrisy. You ask the same person that's engaged in a homosexual activity, saying that they was born this way. So a person engaging in sexual acts with an animal, is that normal? Were they born that way? Or even when it comes to pedophilia, were they born that way? Because they could give the same argument. So where is it? So where does it stop? Because the Bible gives us a standard, shows us how to control, or gives us the manual of how to control our body. The Bible is a operational manual on how to possess our vessel. Just like you have a manual, a car manual, you don't just drive the car and put any type of gas in it. You put diesel in an engine, a V6 or V4 engine. You don't put that. You don't put water in an engine. You don't just put any type of grease. You don't put any tire on a car. There's a structure manual to what goes on the car, what to place in the car. Just like the Bible is an instruction manual for our vehicle, what to do with our vehicle, how to possess your vehicle so that your vehicle doesn't break down, so that your vehicle doesn't malfunction, so it doesn't have system or engine failure. Some of your engines are failing. Some of your computer systems are fried. Because why? You're not getting a tune-up. You're not getting a checkup. You're not putting your car in the shop. You got to put the car in the shop. But this is the shop, IUIC. And we're the engineers. We're coming to fix you. We come to fix you, change your tires, change your wheels, change your oil. We're here to change your computer. We're here to reprogram you, reprogram your computer. We're here to fix all of that. We're here to give you new tires, give you new struts, new brakes, all of that. Because some of you have not taken care of your vessel. So the Bible is our instruction manual. It's our car manual in order to possess our vehicle. So, read that again.
Neither shalt thou lie with any beast to defile thyself therewith.
Lie with beasts. So is it normal to have sex with a beast? And the argument will be no. So what makes it right? If you say that's no, meaning there's a cutoff point. Meaning there's a threshold which you're willing to take your mind to or accept, just like we have a cutoff point. Where which our mind is allowed to go to, because the Bible keeps our mind. So what's keeping you? What's the difference between somebody that say that they're born that way or say that love is love, but what's the difference between somebody that's involved in pedophilia activity or bestiality? What's the difference between that? There is no difference. It's the same sin. Sexual deviancy, lasciviousness, evil concupiscence, fornication. As in Sodom and Gomorrah, going after strange flesh. Go to the article, Madonna. So you think that bestiality, oh, that's far-fetched. No, it's not. Maybe to you, it's happened in the community. You have Benjamin having sex with goats in the countryside. Nah. You wonder why. You wonder why. You go to some of these countries, you say, damn, why do the goats sound like a human? Because you know why the goat sound like a human. I'm like, they be like, damn, that sound like a nigga. Stop. Don't touch that goat. That's why I sound like a nigga. You keep on molesting the goat. I said, why does the goat sound like that? Sound like a big nigga that been violated. I was in Africa, and we're going around the corner. I see the goat going around. I'm like this. I said, look at the pretty goat. He said, I said, oh, shoot. Who molested you? You ain't supposed, and also female goat. You ain't supposed to sound like that. Sound like a big old nigga walking around the street. Let's go to Madonna.
Madonna's wild sex. I said, you expletive my mind.
Hey, and you know Asher does that too. Asher be having sex with you said Colombia? Where you guys from? Where you from? You Zebulon? They be doing that there too? Simeon? Oh, shoot. You northern tribes be weird. I know. I saw a video. I think it was Brazil, one of those videos, and they were saying that before, at a young age, before they have sex with a woman, is part of the it's Colombia. Part of the practice is for them to break their virginity with a goat. They go in the mountains and have sex with goats. I'm telling you, our people are crazy. Our people are sick in the mind. Go on.
I said, you expletive my maid, you disgusting pig. How could you do that
Go
to
down.
me?
So this is Madonna. By now.
By now, it is one of the first laws of feature writing to portray Madonna as a phenomenon peculiar to and reflective of our time.
Madonna is a reflection of the times that we're living in today. Go on.
Dust off the old Vanity Fairs and Vogues, and there you'll have it. The embodiment, first of mid-'80s iron-willed ambition, then of haughty 80s costume excess, and now of that early 90s virtue, directness. Madonna, it seems, is us.
Madonna is an embodiment of where the world is right now. Madonna is up. Madonna, she just put things out on the open. Everything that embodies Sodom and Gomorrah is what Madonna is doing on a global scale. She's doing it in Africa. She's doing it in America. And she's fulfilling every sexual lust known to man. She's just open with it. Everybody else is just a little bit more secretive. Go on.
Yet Sex, that overhyped coffee table book featuring Madonna's flesh and fantasies from high
school. So Madonna, I'm not going to tell you the book because some of you brothers battling things will go back into the book and say, oh, let me look at the book. Don't do it. Go on.
From high school cheerleader rape to biker S&M.
So these are some of the sexual fantasies that Madonna wrote in her book. From high school cheerleader rape to biker S&M.
To sex between a woman and dog.
Why? Because she was doing these things. She was having sex with animals. You think she just wrote about these things as her sexual fantasies? No. Madonna was doing all of the things. Because why? She was raped. She's elite. She's one of the what do you think was happening to her? How she was turned out. She was turned out because these are the things that they're doing in Hollywood. And they do it with women. They call them in Dubai. They have them having sex with camels and all types of dogs and animals. This is common practice amongst our people. That's happening even in America. Happens amongst our people, happens amongst the elite, and happens all over. That's why they have a platform for it called bestiality or zoo something. Now, go to the next article. Oh, no. Give me Isaiah chapter 1, verse 9, and get ready the next video. We're just about done. We're going to end it with this after this. Isaiah chapter 1, verse 9.
Isaiah chapter 1, verse 9. Except the Lord of hosts had left unto us a very small remnant, we should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah.
The Bible says, except the Lord have left us a very small remnant. We're that very small remnant. Because if everybody says, oh, I would never be gay. People that you heard years ago that would never even think to be participants of that lifestyle. Actors, rappers, singers, musicians, people that you would never think, thugs, are all involved in homosexual activities, even having sex with transgender. It's the normal. It's the norm. They said, oh, it's a hole. You can't tell the difference. You can't tell who's who anymore. So it's been normalized. They push it to the extent, just like in Sodom and Gomorrah. You think it wasn't being pushed? How is it that, think about it. It says the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, everybody was it. It says the whole city, older men and younger men. The city surroundings in the whole town surround Lot's wife, Lot's house. Ask yourself a question. How is it that whole city was practicing that from old to young? They were spreading it. There's a thing that people find, or people involved in a lifestyle get a kick out converting straight men. They were going around raping men, turning them out. They were pushing an agenda so that everybody could be like them. And it's not enough that they're that type of way. Either they became that way through molestation from a very young age, that put a spirit that the man was sodomized, so put a male spirit. That's why Lot was willing to give his daughters, because they understand there's a spirit. When you molest or engage in sexual deviant act with children, males, it alters one's spirit. It's as if you killed that spirit within a person, and when you kill that spirit, you engage, you put another man's spirit within a man. So what happens? He decides, he lusts after other man. He has a spirit within him. It alters his mindset. It alters his way of thinking. You change his perception. You alter his sexual preference. There's a spirit behind that. When you rape a woman, you molest a woman, what usually happens? You kill the spirit in her. She usually becomes promiscuous. Or she either becomes promiscuous, overly sexualized, or she begins to hate men and she becomes lesbian. There's a spirit behind these things. That's why God says, don't do it. And the men of Sodom was doing that. They were raping men, raping children, engaging in pedophilia acts, bestiality. It just wasn't that alone, homosexuality. It was all types of fornication given to strange flesh. Read that again.
Except the Lord of hosts had left unto us a very small remnant. We should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah.
And we should all have been as Sodom and Gomorrah. Give me the next video. What? Yes. What? Oh, yeah, get that. What's that again? Sirach 16:8. Get that. Why are you getting the video? You got the video queued up? All right, Sirach 16:8. Read that.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 16, verse 8. Neither spared he the place where Lot sojourned, But abhorred them for their pride.
But abhorred them for their pride. What did he call it? Gay pride. So Lot abhorred them. Lot hated them for their pride. He said, oh, you should love. No, we hate sin. Now we pray our brothers and sisters are able to repent out of that lifestyle before it's too late. So Lot abhorred them for their pride. Let's get the video. Start at 4:45.
Law that was passed by that parliament. Many people say this is a violation of the human rights.
On that one, I agree with President. It's not about President Museveni. I personally have supported President Museveni on that bill. And this is a point, this is an issue on which we'll have different opinions. The regime of rights which we are being asked to follow is a regime of rights that was imposed by the Western world in 1948, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. When the Universal Declaration of Human Rights was being initiated in Paris, no African country was independent. And at that time, they say the civil and political rights were the most important. Then they said that economic and cultural rights were important. Then they say development rights. Now they say all rights are interdependent and therefore they are universal. But we must ask ourselves the fundamental question. Don't we have rights that are uniquely African? And on the question of this idea of being told periodically by the Western world that these are the rights that we must deal with, it is incumbent upon us to come out very clearly. When the white man came here and imposed laws on us, whether it's the common law or the Dutch Roman law, they told us at that time that there is something called sex against the order of nature. Has nature changed? So we must be very slow to personalize laws. We must be very slow. And these arguments that they bring about bills relating to LGBTQ, they'll never say them to the Arabs. They'll never go to Kuwait. They'll never go to Bahrain. They'll never go to Brunei. They'll never go to Saudi Arabia. They'll never go to Indonesia to tell them. It is Africans who they think are tails to be wagged. So on this issue, the government of the Uganda and the people of Uganda, I am with them 100%. There is no freedom outside of the law.
How do you balance the decision or right to choose?
Choose what? The choice must be limited according to the mores of a different community. And in any event, should we be talking about LGBTQ when we have no food on the table? And the danger, including with you journalists, is that now when you interview people, you have your own position that you want to impose on us. We refuse. We know.
In the United Nations Human Rights Council.
But the United Nations Human Rights Council, is it some god? Is it not a body that is composed of human beings who have created a body where some are permanent members and some are not permanent members? Remember, in matters of morality, numbers don't matter. It is the mores. You may disagree with me, but I'm telling you without batting an eyelid and unapologetically that some of us oppose LGBTQ, and you who are anchors, I'm now telling you, because I've seen it with other anchors from other parts of the world, you have a position and you want to impose on us. We refuse. Yours is to midwife, to ensure that my views, if others have a different view, you go and interview them. But from where I sit, I oppose LGBTQ with every ounce in my life.
Including that they must be killed?
Who said they must be killed? No, there is nobody who has said that they must. I want you to read the law. They have not said that. Nobody has said that.
Finally, I'm looking forward to deliver the lecture. I know you don't want to get into the content of the letter, but there's also people in South Africa.
So showing you that they're trying to impose their agenda on the African nations where there's a remnant of the Israelites scattered throughout the diaspora, according to Isaiah chapter 11 and verse 11. And that's why it's called the diasporic agenda, or the global diasporic agenda to decrease the population. And Lumumba made an excellent point concerning them trying to impose their agenda on them. Africa has its own culture, their own laws, their own morality that they stand by. Why is it that they're not opposing their world views on Saudi Arabia? They don't go to the Arab country and imposing their inflections on them. They don't do that. They don't go to Indonesia. They don't go that to India. I've been to India. You didn't see the LGBTQ movement running people running around with dresses and that things of that nature. You don't see that in all other countries, Arabic countries. China doesn't even allow certain music to be played within it because it goes against their morals. And Korea doesn't allow that. Now, Japan might because it's a democratic country, or South Korea might allow that because it's been democratized. But a lot of these countries that they call communist regimes are not, because the only reason why they call it communist is because it opposes the democratic practices, the America agenda, and they can't infiltrate them. Russia's also called a communist country. You think that Russia's allowing that within the country? No. Every country that does allow America's political and global diasporic agenda to infiltrate and weaken their nation is called a communist or called a terrorist organization, or America trying to impose their sanctions on them, such as Kenya, such as Uganda, Ghana, Mali, all these countries. What is it behind them trying to enforce their sexual preference or the sexual lifestyle? What does that have to do with a country where they don't have an infrastructure, where they have to rely on another nation in order to provide some type of financial relief? Or they have another nation rule over them. So that's the least of the worry of another man having sex with another man. That's a freaking sexual preference. People, they don't have food. Some of them don't have clothing. Some of them don't have houses. But you worrying about sex? That's why America must be destroyed and wiped off of the face of this earth. Because these people are no damn good. The Bible says the spirit that's within them are not upright.
That's right.
Why does it say not upright? Because they gay. Why are you gay, Esau? Why are you gay? That's our question. Why are we having a conversation about two men having sex? God damn it. What is wrong with you? Who raised you? Satan raised you. Give me that scripture in Habakkuk chapter 2. These people are filthy. But my brothers and sisters, that's in that lifestyle. You've been lied to. You've been hoodwinked. You've been beguiled. Come out of that lifestyle. Now, listen, we love our people, but you've been lied to. You've been tricked, saying that you was born that way. That's not scriptural. Read that.
Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him.
His soul ain't right. He was probably born gay. Yes. This scripture says his root, his vine, get me that real quick. His soul is not upright, meaning he ain't right. Read. Deuteronomy 32, verse 32.
Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 32. For their vine is of the vine of Sodom and of the fields of Gomorrah.
Their vine is the vine of Sodom and the fields of Gomorrah, meaning the very root of them. Now, we weren't born that way. They were born that way. That's why the Greeks participated in those type of activities. The Romans did it. That's a Western ideology. Why did they keep on carrying that through history? Because their root, their vine. Now, they were probably born that way. Maybe there's something that was encoded within their DNA. But when it comes to me, my thing is straight. My vine, my root is upright.
That's right.
My vine, my root say be fruitful and multiply. And I love that thing. That thing is within me. Give me that. Give me that Ecclesiastes 7, verse 29.
Ecclesiastes.
I'm sorry. We got the most beautiful women on the planet Earth, but you want a big, burly shoulder. Imagine. Excuse me. Sorry. They're gonna flag this class. I know.
Ecclesiastes.
Get a strike.
Chapter 7, verse 29.
But you got to speak your truth. So help me God. Stand on your truth. Never let anybody take your truth from you. Even to cost your life. Stand on your truth. If you go to jail.
That's right.
Don't ever. Come on now.
Lo, this only have I found, that God hath made man upright.
See, God made man upright, but Esau was not made upright. That's why his vine is at Sodom and Gomorrah. Man was made upright, but his spirit was not made upright. His spirit was made differently from everybody else. You was about to say something? Go on.
But they have sought out many inventions.
All right. And we're going to conclude class at that. And like I said, we're going to continue next week with a global diasporic agenda to decrease the world population. All right. Israel Shalom. Most High Christ bless. Tune in at the end of August for Captain Zakai's radio show. All right. And we're going to have to end class earlier. All right. Shalom.
Making violence, killing brothers, switching riders, selling drugs upon the corners, but the profits here, so boy, you better. You've been making violence, killing